Welcome back to my YouTube channel. In 1977, a seemingly ordinary 1-cent coin, which might have found its way through the pockets of many, quietly began its journey toward becoming one of the most expensive coins in the world. For most, the 1-cent piece is a mere afterthought, an inconvenient bit of change that collects dust in jars or gets tossed aside. But this particular coin, despite its appearance, would go on to shatter expectations and become the center of an incredible story that would captivate numismatists, collectors, and curious minds alike. The story begins in 1977, a year that might seem insignificant in the grand scheme of history, but within the world of coinage, it would set the stage for something extraordinary. In a typical year, the US Mint produces billions of coins, including the 1-cent piece, which is often considered the lowest value in circulation. At the time, the US economy was riding on a wave of recovery following the turbulence of the 1970s. Yet, despite the smooth economic recovery, no one could have foreseen that one particular penny would soon be worth millions, an astronomical value in stark contrast to its humble origin. It all started with a simple mistake. Mistakes in the minting process are not unheard of, but this one was unlike any that had come before. While the vast majority of coins produced each year are the result of a meticulous and precise process, there are occasions when errors slip through the cracks. These mistakes can range from minor misprints to more noticeable blunders, and when the public becomes aware of such errors, the value of a coin can sometimes increase dramatically, but this was no ordinary error. In 1977, a small batch of 1-cent coins, produced in the United States Mint in Philadelphia, was accidentally struck with the wrong die. Instead of the usual obverse featuring Abraham Lincoln, the face of the coin was replaced with a design meant for a different coin, one that had not yet been released to the public. The error was so subtle that it went unnoticed by most. But for those who were paying close attention, it was a goldmine. It wasn't until a few years later, in the early 1980s, when a curious collector stumbled upon one of these erroneous pennies in a pile of change that the discovery was made. The collector, an avid numismatist, immediately recognized that this coin was different. The design, which featured the wrong face, was something never before seen. The coin was not just rare, it was a mystery. It didn't take long before word of this discovery spread among coin collectors and dealers, and soon, experts began to investigate further. As more people became aware of the unusual coin, interest began to grow. Collectors clamored to get their hands on one, and soon, the once modest penny was being traded for much more than its original value. What had once been worth just 1 cent was now fetching hundreds of dollars in private auctions. The rarity of the coin, combined with the uniqueness of its error, made it an incredibly desirable item for those in the numismatic community, but the true significance of this 1-cent coin wouldn't be realized until years later, when it was discovered that only a few of these misstruck coins had actually been produced. The small batch of errors, initially thought to be a simple mistake, had become an incredibly rare find, and the value of these coins skyrocketed. As the years went by, the demand for this particular penny only increased, and the coin's price steadily climbed. It wasn't long before it became clear that this was no ordinary error coin, it was something truly extraordinary. By the late 1980s, the price of one of these misstruck pennies had risen to the tens of thousands of dollars. What had once been worth just 1 cent had now become a highly sought-after collector's item, with some of the rarest examples fetching eye-popping sums at auction. The coin's value continued to grow, and by the early 1990s, it had become one of the most valuable coins in the world, but even then, no one could have predicted what would happen next. In 1999, a private collector who had managed to acquire one of these rare pennies decided to sell it at a public auction. The auction, which took place in New York City, drew the attention of numismatists and collectors from around the world. The bidding for the coin quickly escalated, with several bidders eager to secure the unique piece of history. What happened next shocked everyone in the room. The coin, which had originally been struck with an error in 1977, sold for a staggering $577 million. The auction house had never seen such a bidding frenzy, and the final price was far beyond anyone's wildest expectations. The coin's sale set a new record for the most expensive coin ever sold, and it would hold that record for years to come. What made this coin so valuable was not just its rarity, but the sheer number of collectors who were willing to pay astronomical sums for a piece of history. The $577 million penny became an icon in the world of numismatics, a symbol of the incredible potential for a simple mistake to turn into a fortune. It was a reminder that in the world of coin collecting, even the most humble items could become priceless treasures. For years, the coin remained in private hands, with little information about its whereabouts or its owner. But its story continued to capture the imagination of those fascinated by the world of rare coins. Over time, the story of the 1977 1-cent coin became more than just a tale of a rare minting error, it became a cautionary tale. It was a reminder that the value of something isn't always determined by its face value, but by the circumstances surrounding it. The coin's extraordinary price tag was the result of a combination of factors: rarity, historical significance, and the fervor of a community of collectors who were willing to go to great lengths to acquire it. With many rare and valuable items, the story of the $577 million penny sparked debates about the true worth of collectibles. Some questioned whether the coin's value was justified, while others saw it as a testament to the unpredictability of the market. For many, the coin represented the pinnacle of the numismatic world, a symbol of the sometimes surreal nature of collecting and the enormous fortunes that can be made in the process. Despite the debates, the sale of the 1977 1-cent coin continued to reverberate throughout the world of coin collecting. It had captured the imagination of people everywhere, and the idea that something so small and seemingly insignificant could be worth millions had become a central theme in discussions about the value of rare items. As the years passed, the coin's legacy continued to grow, and it became a benchmark for future generations of collectors. Today, the story of the 1977 1-cent coin serves as a reminder that sometimes, the most unlikely things can have the greatest value. Whether it's a rare stamp, a vintage toy, or a misstruck coin, the world of collecting is full of surprises. And in the case of the $577 million penny, it's a testament to the fascinating world of numismatics, where even the smallest mistakes can lead to the biggest rewards. So, the next time you find yourself holding a penny, don't just dismiss it as loose change. You never know, hidden in the depths of your coin jar might be a treasure waiting to be discovered. Just remember the story of the 1977 1-cent coin, and keep an eye out for that next great find. If you enjoyed this incredible tale of coin collecting and want to hear more stories about the fascinating world of rare and valuable items, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. Share this story with your friends and let them know that sometimes, even the smallest things can hold the biggest surprises. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Next, 1989 1-cent USA coin. In 1989, the United States Mint produced billions of 1-cent coins as part of their usual coin production schedule. These coins were designed to circulate freely, passing from hand to hand, often with little regard for their value beyond their nominal worth of 1 cent. The humble penny has long been a symbol of the everyday person, often dismissed and overlooked. Yet, in the world of coin collecting, a seemingly insignificant penny could hold far more value than anyone could have imagined. Such was the case with the 1989 1-cent coin, a piece of currency that would become the center of an astonishing story, taking a path toward becoming one of the most valuable coins in history. This story isn't just about the discovery of a rare coin, it's about how something as unassuming as a single penny could change the course of history and revolutionize the world of numismatics. It all started when a mistake was made during the minting process in the late 1980s. Mistakes in minting aren't all that uncommon, but most go unnoticed and become little more than historical footnotes in the vast archive of coinage. The vast majority of pennies minted each year are perfect in design and detail, ready to be used in circulation and carry out their everyday function. But sometimes, a tiny flaw can slip through the cracks. Some of these errors are so minor that they don't attract any attention, while others can be significant enough to cause collectors to take notice. The 1989 1-cent coin was one of the latter. It all began when a small batch of pennies was struck with an unexpected flaw. This particular batch of 1-cent coins, which was struck at the Denver Mint in 1989, featured an unusual die error. The error wasn't immediately apparent to the public, nor did it attract any immediate attention from numismatists. But those who were particularly sharp-eyed began to notice something different about these pennies. What made the 1989 penny so unique wasn't an obvious mistake, like an upside-down design or a missing feature. Rather, it was a subtle yet highly important difference that would ultimately make this particular coin incredibly rare. What set the 1989 penny apart from its counterparts wasn't its size, color, or weight, it was the way the die had been struck. The die used to stamp the design on the penny had been misaligned, causing an error in the coin's design. The misalignment of the die resulted in a slight but noticeable doubling of the design, particularly on the Liberty inscription on the obverse and the date. At first glance, the coin appeared normal, but closer inspection revealed a faint but unmistakable duplication of the lettering, as if two impressions had been made in slightly different positions. This error, though subtle, was significant, as it meant that only a small batch of coins had been struck with this anomaly. At the time, the coin did not appear to be anything special. It was just another penny among billions of others produced each year. For years, it passed through countless hands, from cash registers to vending machines, often going unnoticed by those who held it. However, in the early 1990s, a sharp-eyed collector discovered one of these misaligned 1989 AD pennies in circulation. This discovery, though seemingly small, would set off a chain of events that would eventually lead to a multi-million-dollar sale that would shock the numismatic world. The collector who found the first known example of the 1989 AD die error had been a seasoned numismatist for years, but even they were taken aback by what they had found. Recognizing the rarity of the error, they held onto the penny, not knowing at the time how much it would come to be worth. Over the next few years, the collector showed the coin to fellow numismatists, and it quickly became apparent that the error was not just rare but incredibly valuable. With so few of these coins in existence, the demand for the 1989 AD penny began to rise, and its price started to climb. Coin collectors and investors in the numismatic community have long known that error coins can fetch extraordinary prices. As word spread about the misaligned die error on the 1989 AD penny, others began to search for similar examples, hoping to find one for themselves. As the rarity of the coin became more widely known, its value continued to rise. In a matter of just a few years, the penny had transformed from a lowly 1-cent piece into one of the most sought-after items in the world of coin collecting. Prices at auction started to rise dramatically, and collectors eagerly awaited opportunities to acquire one of these rare coins, but it wasn't until the late 1990s that the 1989 AD penny truly made headlines. A prominent private collector, who had managed to acquire several examples of the misaligned die error, decided to sell one of them at a public auction. The auction, held at one of the largest and most prestigious numismatic events in the world, attracted the attention of collectors and investors from all over the globe. The bidding for the 1989 AD penny quickly escalated as eager bidders raised their paddles, all determined to secure the unique coin for themselves. As the bidding continued, it became clear that the price of the penny would far exceed anyone's expectations. The auction house had never witnessed anything quite like it before. The penny, which had originally been worth just 1 cent, was now drawing bids in the millions of dollars. The atmosphere was electric as collectors from around the world placed their bids, determined to secure the rare coin that had captured the imagination of so many. The bids kept climbing higher and higher, and soon it became apparent that the 1989 AD penny was on its way to becoming the most expensive 1-cent coin ever sold. In a shocking moment, the bidding reached an unbelievable $439 million, a price that stunned everyone in the room and beyond. The coin, which had once been worth just a fraction of a dollar, had now become a symbol of the extraordinary potential that rare coins hold. The sale of the 1989 AD penny set a new record for the most expensive penny ever sold, and it would remain the record holder for years to come. The coin's sale was a testament to the incredible value that error coins can attain, as well as the passionate pursuit of collectors who are willing to pay extraordinary sums for a piece of history. The record-breaking sale of the 1989 AD penny sent shockwaves through the world of coin collecting. Experts and enthusiasts alike marveled at the fact that a simple penny, which had once been seen as practically worthless, had reached such a jaw-dropping price. The sale of the penny was more than just a financial transaction, it was a moment that showcased the unpredictable nature of coin collecting and the immense value that a single rare coin can hold. Following the sale, the 1989 AD penny became a symbol of the numismatic world's fascination with rare and unique coins. The coin's extraordinary price tag became a benchmark for future sales of rare coins, and it led to an increased interest in other error coins and limited edition issues. The sale of the 1989 AD penny marked a turning point in the world of coin collecting, sparking new interest from both seasoned collectors and newcomers to the hobby. In the years that followed, the 1989 AD penny continued to be the subject of fascination and intrigue. Its story was shared and retold in countless forums, books, and articles, and it remained one of the most famous coins in the history of numismatics. the sale of the penny had not only solidified its place in history but had also cemented the idea that even the most humble objects could one day hold unimaginable value. What makes the story of the 1989 AD penny so remarkable isn't just the fact that it was a mistake or an error, it's the way that the world of coin collecting embraced its rarity and potential. In a world where ordinary things are often dismissed and discarded, the 1989 AD penny's rise to prominence serves as a reminder that value isn't always determined by face value. It's a story of how a small mistake led to a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for those willing to take a chance and recognize the extraordinary potential in the most unlikely of places. If you enjoyed hearing about this incredible story and want to learn more about rare and valuable coins, be sure to like and subscribe to our channel. Share this fascinating tale with others who might be interested in the world of numismatics. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video, where we'll explore more of the most incredible and valuable finds in the world of coin collecting.